Now on RTE Radio 1, it's 5 minutes to midnight, and it's time to go over to Met Éireann for the RTE weather and sea area forecast with Paul Downs.
Good evening and thank you. Well, most areas will start dry tonight. Cloud will quickly thicken though, with rain spreading into the south towards morning. There'll be some heavy falls of rain in the southwest towards morning, with a status orange rainfall warning coming into effect for Kerry, Cork and Waterford from 3 a.m. While a status yellow rainfall warning will come into effect for all remaining counties from 3 a.m. also. Lows tonight will hold between 10 and 14 degrees, with some mist developing in light southeasterly breezes. However, winds will increase moderate to fresh in the south later in the night. Showery rain then will extend nationwide on Sunday morning, turning locally heavy and persistent. Isolated thundery downpours are possible, along with the potential of some localised flooding, especially in the south and southwest. However, some drier intervals will develop through the afternoon. It'll be humid and breezy with highs of 16 to 20 degrees tomorrow in moderate to fresh southerly winds. On Monday, patchy rain in the northwest will gradually break up as it moves across the country, with sunny spells spreading from the northwest later. Monday's top temperatures will range from 18 to 22 degrees in the south and southeast, but turning much fresher in the northwest, with highs of just 15 to 16 degrees in moderate northerly winds. Tuesday looks set to be mainly dry with long spells of sunshine, fresher than recent days, though with highs of just 15 to 20 degrees in moderate northerly winds. Wednesday looks set to be another dry day with a mix of cloud and some good sunny spells. Highs will range from 15 to 19 degrees in light northerly breezes. Thursday then will be a cloudier day with patchy outbreaks of rain or drizzle, brightening up though through the afternoon or evening hours, with highs of 14 to 17 degrees in mostly moderate northerly breezes. And now for your sea area forecast. The meteorological situation as of 9 p.m. Ireland lies in a southeasterly airflow between a weak region of high pressure of 1022 hectopascals over the UK and a broad area of low pressure centred 700 nautical miles to the southwest of Ireland. An associated occluded front with embedded waves will bring heavy rain to many parts through the period. Now the forecast for the next 24 hours from Roaches Point to Mizzen Head to Loop Head. Winds southeast force 5 or 6, soon veering southerly force 5 or 6 and gusty, later veering south to southwest and decreasing force 3 to 5. The forecast from Loop Head to Erris Head to Fair Head. Winds south to southeast force 3 to 5, later becoming southerly or variable and decreasing force 2 to 4, before veering northerly and increasing force 3 or 4 by the end of the period. The forecast ends from Fair Head to Wicklow Head to Roaches Point and for the Irish Sea. Winds east to southeast force 2 to 4, soon backing south to southeast and increasing force 4 or 5, later further increasing southerly force 4 to 6, occasionally reaching force 7 at times from Belfast Lough to Carlingford Lough to Holt Head. And for the weather on Irish coastal waters and the Irish Sea, cloudy with rain imminent in the south, soon rain heavy at times. Visibility on all Irish coastal waters and the Irish Sea decreasing moderate to poor in any rain or showers. And the outlook for further 24 hours, mostly fresh to strong southerly winds in the east and southeast, moderate to fresh north and northwest winds in the northwest, gradually extending to all parts, becoming occasionally strong in the southwest towards the end of the period. Weather, outbreaks of rain gradually decreasing, mostly dry and fair by the end of the period. And now for your 11 p.m. coastal reports. Malin Head, south-southeast, 15 knots, fair, 26 miles, 1017, steady. Boy M5, east-southeast, 8 knots. The visibility Tusker Lighthouse is greater than 10 miles, 1018, steady. Roaches Point, east-southeast, 10 knots, cloudy, 16 miles, 1016, falling slowly. Valencia, east, 7 knots, cloudy, 24 miles, 1015, falling slowly. Belmullet, east-southeast, 1 knot, fair, 16 miles, 1016, steady. And finally Dublin Airport, east-southeast, 4 knots, fair, 16 miles, 1018, steady. That's all from me. I hope you have a great night.
And now it's midnight on RTE Radio 1 and over to Ryan Clark in the RTE newsroom.
Good morning from the newsroom. I'm Ryan Clark. Aer Lingus says it plans today to operate as normal, but that there may be some disruption to flights after yesterday's mass cancellations in and out of Dublin Airport due to a major IT outage. The airline says it's now working to re-accommodate the thousands of passengers who had their travel plans disrupted when more than 50 flights were cancelled. Samantha Library reports.
Following a day of travel chaos, Aer Lingus says it plans to operate as normal today, but that there may be some disruption to flights due to what it called the hangover from yesterday's mass flight cancellations. 52 flights due to depart and arrive at Dublin Airport were cancelled yesterday afternoon due to an IT outage that went on for almost 10 hours. Before the cancellations, thousands of people were left queuing inside and outside of Terminal 2 as the airline attempted to manually check in flights. There have been multiple complaints about customer service and communications, with some passengers reporting waits of up to 10 hours before being told their flights were cancelled. There's confusion too about transatlantic flights. The airline says all but one flight departed yesterday, but passengers say they were told to go home because the flights were cancelled. And despite being told systems were being restored last night, people complained they couldn't check in online or rebook some cancelled flights, and that there were long waits to get through to Aer Lingus customer service channels.
Russia has suffered its worst defeats in Ukraine since it was forced to withdraw its forces from around Kyiv in April. A rapidly accelerating counter-offensive by Ukrainian troops has led to the recapture of several key towns and cities in the east of the country. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba says his country's military has demonstrated that their forces are able to defeat the Russian army. Mr. Kuleba said that with more weapons coming from abroad, Ukraine could bring the war to an end.
We showed that we can defeat the Russian army. We're doing it with weapons which were also provided by our partners. I repeat again, the more weapons we receive, the faster we win. The faster this war will end, and we will be able to concentrate on other goals.
Irish actor Colin Farrell has won the Best Actor award at the Venice Film Festival for his role in The Banshees of Inisherin. The film, written and directed by Martin McDonagh, also won Best Screenplay and had its world premiere at the festival. Set during the Irish Civil War, the film goes on release here in October. And the weather forecast: dry tonight, but cloud will thicken and there will be some heavy rain. Lowest temperatures of 10 to 14 degrees. And that's all for now. We'll have more news at 4.